I've been trying scanning for radders, but then I can't fight cruisers properly, so probably just go back to normal roaming. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's one of the reasons why I don't use frigates. 3 mid slots is really rough, and there's not much you can do when you need a scanner to try and track down radders as well. So, I mean, what are you going to do, right? Oh, hold on 1 second. So as I was saying, hello pilots, and welcome back to another Eve Echoes video. I am out here in my Fiend again, but with a slightly different fit. This time I'm using a large extender and 3 heat sinks in the low slots to try and put out as much DPS as I can without losing as much survivability as I need. I also have 2 webs and a large newt in the mid slots to take care of any small frigates that are going to try and speed tank me close up. But unfortunately that means no scanner for the mid slot, so I am just warping from gate to gate, and here I am arriving on an Ansible X gate, and lo and behold there is an Orca sitting here just waiting to be attacked. Now I'm already a little bit weary of this going into this because usually Orcas don't just sit there on the Ansible X gate just waiting for you, so I'm kind of expecting some kind of a trap to go on here, so I'm going to watch and see if he locks back on and if he has any mods that applies anything to us that we need to be aware of. So as I set my bubble here, I notice he is locking us back. We're being yellow boxed here. We'll see if he launches any drones, if he was ready with any combat drones, and see what kind of mods he throws at us. If there's anything like a large newt or some kind of warp disruptor, yep, there's the warp disruption. And it looks like a large newt as well. So this is definitely some kind of a trap on the Ansible X gate waiting for me to come in here. I'm going to double tap into the open space, turn on my Dragon Chant Nanocore to get those warp disruption modules off of me, and we'll blast off and pick some distance up as our bubble turns off. Honestly, this is something that I'm surprised hasn't happened to me before already, but always something that I'm ready for to happen, ready to be aware of. As soon as you get locked back by that Orca, you gotta watch out for what mid slots it's using against you. And the quicker you can recognize that this is a trap, the quicker you can get away and not be swarmed by the partners that are going to be in locals. So we'll watch this ship as we wait for our cooldown to come off on our Dragon Roar ability. It takes about 30 seconds before we can actually warp off. But I'm pretty sure, see, we're at 50% capacitor here. Yeah, let's go ahead and warp to the Citadel, just any other structure in the distance. And we should be able to bounce around and get out of the system from there. I'm going to spin my camera around to watch this Orca on the Ansible X real quick, just to see if my theory was correct. And there it is popping up on the overview. We see a battleship landing, obviously a trap or somebody coming quickly to rescue it. That's why you had the warp disruption fit to it. So I definitely called that trap, and another battleship landing as well. So avoided that loss. Very nice try, but not this time.
Warp drive active.
Okay, so we filamented over into Quirius, and I am poking at some Ansible X gates trying to get a response here. We're going to see, we got a good amount of people in local, so I'm hoping, and we got some communication in the local chat as well, so I'm hoping that somebody comes over here, recognizes where I'm at, and we can get a good quick fight. I don't want to bait on the Citadel because I don't want them to undock a carrier or something like that. They can just hit me from a long distance away. So I kind of preferring the Ansible X's. And we got a Daredevil here popping up. Very nice. Okay, let's lock onto him real quick. Now, normally I don't match up well against Daredevils because they can hold me at about 20 kilometers in orbit too fast to catch. But because we have this large newt here, we are going to be able to close that distance, drain his capacitor, and get off some really good shots with high DPS to take him out before he's able to react. So real quick fight there, but that's pretty much what happens when you're able to almost fully drain their cap with one large newt. I have a level 8 overheating GU for the Neutralizer, so it's draining them almost completely on a frigate-sized ship and allows us to turn off their micro warp drive or afterburner and get off some great shots here. So good fight to Tito in there. Let's get to a safe spot so we can check out that kill mail, see what mods he was running with, and see what kind of evaluation we got for the kill. All right, open it up here. Not too valuable, only about 212 million. So he's running some, looks like some green weapons and green mods. So nothing too special on that Daredevil. All right, let's move on to find another fight. Okay, slow boating our way from Quirius over into Delve. We are just on the border of TSC space, and it looks like we've got somebody who just entered this system. So I'm going to stop on the next gate and see if I can catch them before they warp off. The warp bubble will stop somebody in mid-warp, so it's almost ideal to put it up as soon as you see them pop up, so you can actually stop their warp, instead of preventing it and running into a bad matchup. And luckily, real quick, I recognize this as a hauling ship, so we get that warp bubble up real fast, and we're going to approach within our web range just so he has nowhere to go, and we'll give him a nice clean 3-shot kill here. Very nice. Okay, let's check his loot, see if he was carrying anything. I have really bad luck with these hauling ships lately. Let's see what we got. Okay, empty hauler as usual. Well, at least we got a kill from going gate to gate. Check out the kill mail here, and yeah, about 395. Even though it was empty, we are moving on up into our kill mail evaluation, so I will take that kill and move on and look for more. I tell you, without a scanner, it is really hard to track anybody down, especially at this time of night, so luckily we are over here, and Lazy Boy is going to go ahead and answer our call to a challenge of battle. I've been going system to system, singing that stupid duck song in local chat, trying to see if anybody will reply, if anybody's awake at 3 a.m. in my time. While I really love this fit, it is just so hard to find some content. So thankfully, looks like Lazy Boy is available to fight, and we are finally going to get the cruiser 1 vs 1 that I have been looking for. Not really fit very well to fight a battleship, just because most of the time I'm going to be finding them near the gates. So this is a total opportunity for me here. Unfortunately, he warps off, but he is going to declare that we're going to fight at the sun. So that works for me too. I would love to fight an Ashimu and really test out my fit, especially because I lost to the last one over in Shush space. So we'll test this out, this new fit, and see if it works out a little bit better. I know the last time I fought an Ashimu, I tried to play around with it, orbit it at a long range, and try to avoid as much damage as possible, and that's just not going to work when you're fighting an Ashimu. Either they're going to have tracking disruptors like that one did, or they're going to have like double NOS or double webs to hold you at range and slow you down while you can't. So the goal for this is for me to close range with him and then get both webs on him and just burst him down as fast as possible before he gets those reps going with those medium armor repairs. Not sure if he's going to be warping to the sun directly or at a distance, so we'll see about how far off we are from him here. Yeah, it looks like at about 80 kilometers, which is not ideal for me. I don't want him to get his long range webs on me and slow me down before I can get to him. So I'm going to give him a little bit of time to get some momentum going towards me, and then I'm going to start my approach so that it's going to be harder for him to adjust his momentum. If you watch his speed, you can see he's going about 2k ms, so probably using a micro warp drive. Not really going to matter, because we have double webs, we don't have a scrambler. But as we close the distance, we are just not able to get close enough with our double web. So I'm gonna have to pop that dragon core, that dragon chant ability, so that I can squeeze in just enough time before he's able to reapply those webs to me and get both of our double webs on him and stop him from moving. If we can hold him still and get a nice straight shots on him on the approach, there's no way he's going to be able to hold on to our DPS that we're rocking. And as you can see, he is down into half armor here. We've got him into hull already, and we are just building and building our DPS as he goes down. Very nice. So good fight to Lazy Boy there. Thank you for taking the 1 vs 1, and I now have a much better plan against fighting Ashimus. I need to burst them down before they have a chance to outlast me. We're going to pick up his loot here. We'll take care of that pod, and we will check out the kill mail and see exactly what fit he was running with and kind of where everything went wrong for him. Okay, 1.7 billion for the Ashimu. Was using medium pulse lasers just like me. Had some extra tank in the low slots, but only 1 repper, and he was using a micro warp drive. A little surprising, he only had 1 web and 1 NOS. Usually I would run with either 2 NOS or 2 webs, but it's up to him. And he was very tanky in the rig slots there, so surprising how fast he went down with my DPS with that much tank in his rigs. Alright, got one more spot to check and delve that I know is going to be high populated. We'll see what we run into. Okay, we are over in the 7 UTB. This is usually a high populated system over in Delve, so I like to swing by every once in a while and check out the locals. Unfortunately, I am calling out to see if anybody is in chat because I don't have a scanner again. So we're going to have to do the same thing, warp to the Ansible X, see if we see anything. One of the good things about warping to the Ansible X is it's usually close enough to the Citadel that if it's not on your overview when you appear in the system, you can go to the Ansible X first and then warp to the Citadel from there. So you can see I'm doing my usual antagonistic thing in the local chat just to see if anybody's awake, if anybody wants to get aggressive and try to find a fight. Unfortunately, it looks like we just got some PvEers or some miners here. And yep, 2 Orcas sitting on the Citadel here. Unfortunately for me, on the opposite side of the Citadel. One of them docks up. Let's see if we can get to the other one before he docks. Come on. Approach, approach, approach. Let's go. Let's lock him up. Just in case. You never know. No. Okay. Was hoping he was AFK. So it's getting pretty late here. I don't think anybody else in Delve is either awake or wanting to find a fight. So we're going to move on. We're going to dock up and yeah, we're going to go away. We're going to waddle ourselves away, fit a scanner and our normal fit and see if we can find anything else. So scanning down a target here, you know, I really have been looking for something big that I could really hype up and put a really great edit together for, but all we got is this little Atron interceptor here, so I guess it's just gonna have to wait. Or will it?
Get ready! Let's get ready! Are you ready to be ready? It's coming! He's coming! Still coming! Always coming! He's warping, fast warping. Gonna get ya! As soon as I get ya, you'll see. When I see, they'll all see what I see. He'll see when it's time. Is it time? Almost time. It's the time for over.
Scanning down our last target here, we are finding an Apoch Navy issue. Now this is finally a radar that we've been able to track down back in our Explorer narrow scanner fit. And if we can warp to him fast enough, we should be able to tackle him without too good of a response. We do have to worry about some of those other players in local because I know a lot of this area has been dropping capitals on me when I go to tackle their radars. So something we have to be very careful and aware of, being able to warp off as soon as we can. So again, I like to warp in here at about 50 to 60 kilometers just because I don't know what range they're going to be ratting at. And as we land here, we're going to see if we're going to be outside of that 150 kilometer range to warp to him. Looks like we're pretty close. Let's test it out. And warp. Yes, okay, we are just over the 150, so we can warp straight to him. Be a lot better than slow boating it to him. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Get the bubble up. Gotta get it up before he warps away. Doesn't look like he's paying attention. He's not moving towards Citadel or anything, so let's put that bubble up, and now we've got him trapped. Let's start our usual orbit, get our afterburner going, get our normal 16 kilometer orbit going on him. Everything's activated. Put that NOS, and then we'll actually throw on our double heat sinks as well, just to boost up our implant as fast as we can. The main idea here is we want to take these things down as fast as possible because we don't want a response fleet to come in and save them. And that's been one of my biggest challenges so far, is taking things down quick enough so that nobody can respond to it, and also being able to have enough defense fit to you to be able to survive. So luckily with our fast afterburner speed, we are going to be able to orbit him where he's not going to be able to target us and hit us. So far so good. Not sure if he's AI ratting. We will put on some extra pressure on him, try and get him into armor. These Navy ships have a lot more natural resist, so even if they aren't fit with resist mods in the low slots, they are going to take a lot more punishment. But definitely not shield tank on this ship. Usually going to be armor tank, so we'll see how well our damage applies to his armor, and we'll see if he does any reps. Looks like he is yellow boxing us here, so he might not be AI ratting, or he may have come back to his game. But now we already have our implant almost fully charged up. We're going to be putting out about 3,000 damage over time. Everything's looking good, and even though he is going to be locking onto us soon, it looks like he's not going to be able to do any reps. It doesn't look like he has a rep fit, or maybe it's just a small rep, because I don't see that health going up. It's definitely going down at a nice pace. We're actually hitting him pretty hard, about 3,700 for that last hit, which is actually pretty good. It shows us that he doesn't have a whole lot of tank. He is red box onto us, so we know he's active, likely calling for some help as well. We'll see if anybody shows up, but we are more than halfway through his armor. If we can get him into hull, I think we could take him down real quick. We'll burn through his hull a lot faster than his armor. Oh, we got another warp in here. Another battleship is landing, but it looks like it's another Apoch Navy, and it's coming in about 0 on the anomaly. So I'm not too worried about the tracking of that large laser ship from this distance, especially because we have a nice fast orbit going around this target. I know from using my own Apoch Navy that it's going to be actually really hard to hit me, not only from this distance, but because I have such a fast orbit as well. I'm also a smaller target because I'm using a large shield booster instead of a large extender. That's going to keep my signature radius down, which is going to make it even harder for them to hit me. So you can see we're doing a little bit more damage now that he's in hull. He's about half hull now. I'm actually starting to consider if I want to warp over to that other Apoch Navy after this one goes down. It would be nice to get a 2-for-1, although he is really close to those rats, and I don't want any webs applied to me because that's going to have him put a lot more DPS onto us. He did get us some good shots there. Maybe he has some tracking mods fit, so we are going to have to turn on our large shield booster, and now we aren't going to have a ship to drain cap. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap into space. I'm not going to waste time trying to go for this wreck here. We'll warp back to it if we can get a good enough distance, but I'm worried about another ship warping to us as well now that we have this Apoch watching. So we'll turn off our warp bubble, and as our capacitor gets lower, we're just going to double tap into space at an angle away from this Apoch Navy to see if we can get some distance. I don't want to warp back. I'm considering it. I'm considering warping to a wreck over here in the anomaly to fight him, but I really don't want to be mixed in with those rats and have them apply E-War onto me, especially with the low capacitor that I have. So again, very tempting to go for the 2-for-1, but I think it's just not safe, and he's going to warp off anyway, so that's probably the better choice. He's not going to be able to hit me from this distance. Once we get over 150 kilometers from this wreck, we can go ahead and warp back to it and pick it up really easily. And with our bubble down, we should be able to warp off if anything else drops on us as well. So let's go ahead and warp in here to this wreck. Usually ratting mods, not anything special to write home about, but if we can get a siege module, that would be nice. I'll take anything at this point. It's pretty much free loot sitting out in space. Okay, landing here, and you can see the rats have detargeted us, so we're pretty safe. Yeah, nothing too special on that loot. We'll get to a safer spot, check out that kill mail, and see what we ended up with. Not too bad, very standard for an Apoch Navy issue, 9.1 billion. Looks like he was running all webs in the mid slots, no newts as usual. So pretty easy fight as long as nobody adds on to help. So that'll wrap it up for this video. A little bit on the shorter side, but unfortunately I wasn't able to find a whole lot of content using that gate-to-gate fit. I might get back to more of my scanning down ratting fit, but it has been kind of rough just looking for AI ratters and people who are just going to warp back to the Citadel. So I have some plans to try some different things, some different theories, and some different builds going forward. But of course, if you have any suggestions of things that you want to see me fly, any fits you want me to try and use, or any ships you want to see, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed my little song, or it was a complete waste of time, feel free to put that in the comments as well. I don't care. I'm just trying to have fun here, and hopefully I'm at least moderately entertaining at some point for you. But that'll do it for me. If you enjoyed the content, go ahead and leave me a like, subscribe for any future videos, and I will see you in the next Gromire Games Eve Echoes video. Or will I?
He's coming!